Hey everyone, so let's talk about something huge. In a world where we are just constantly bombarded with information, how do any of us decide what's actually true? It's a massive challenge, right? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating new model called Codatta, which is built on this radical idea, the rebirth of expertise.
I mean, really think about it. Who gets to make that call? For literally centuries, we've been leaning on specific institutions to give us the answers. But you can feel it, right? Those old models are starting to show some serious cracks, and it's forcing us to look for a whole new way forward.
You know, historically, we've really only had two main systems for this. On one hand, you've got the institutional gatekeepers. Think universities, major news outlets, that sort of thing. The problem, their decision-making process is a total black box. Then, the internet came along, and we got algorithmic feeds, which, it turns out, just swapped one black box for another, this time driven by hidden corporate priorities.
So, what's the alternative? This is where Codatta comes in and suggests something completely different. Instead of putting our faith in a person or an institution or some invisible algorithm, what if we could just trust the process itself? A process where every single step is laid bare for anyone and everyone to see.
This right here, this is the absolute core of the idea. It's not about who is making the claim anymore. It's all about how that claim was checked and verified. This just flips the entire concept of authority on its head. Trust isn't just given to you because of a title. It has to be earned through a process that we can all look at and understand.
So this glass box approach is what trusting the process really looks like. Every claim, every scrap of evidence, every single step in the verification is recorded permanently and publicly on-chain, which just means it's stored on a super secure, unchangeable digital ledger. The entire chain of logic is right there for you or me or anyone to inspect. No more secrets.
Okay, let's keep going because I know what you're thinking. It's the first question everyone asks. How does a decentralized system like this stop itself from just turning into, well, chaotic mob rule? How do you actually maintain rigorous, high-quality judgment?
And yeah, that's the absolute #1 concern with any open system, right? If you let everybody have a say, how do you stop things from going completely off the rails? Well, the people who designed Codatta thought about this a lot, and they've built some very specific mechanisms to deal with this exact problem.
And this is so crucial. This is not a simple one-person, one-vote system. Not at all. It's built on 4 key pillars that ensure things stay rigorous. You've got reputation, which means an expert's vote actually counts for more. There's stake backing, which makes people put their money where their mouth is. There's transparent reasoning, so you can see the logic. And it still preserves domain-specific expertise. Let's break each of those down.
First up is reputation. It's pretty simple, actually. In this system, the more you prove you're right over time, the more influence your vote has. So, a seasoned expert's judgment literally carries more weight than some random person jumping in for the first time. This makes sure that it's a proven track record of expertise that's actually shaping the final outcomes.
Second, there's real accountability, because participants have to put some skin in the game. They actually have to wager tokens to make a judgment. If they're right, hey, they get rewarded. But if they're wrong, they can lose that stake. This little bit of economic friction is a game changer. It turns a cheap, casual opinion into a serious, well-thought-out commitment.
And third, it's not just the final decision that gets recorded, it's the entire why. Every single judgment leaves behind this transparent reasoning trail. You can go in and see exactly what evidence was looked at, how it was weighed, and even see the dissenting opinions. It's like a complete audit trail for knowledge itself.
And finally, this is so important to get. This system does not get rid of experts, not even close. It just changes their role. A medical claim is still going to be judged by doctors and clinicians, but now their reasoning is completely transparent, and they're accountable to their peers in a public space. Expertise is still absolutely vital, but now it has to justify itself out in the open.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, what you get is something pretty profound. It's a fundamental shift, moving expertise out of the closed, private backrooms of old institutions and into a public, open arena where it can be reborn.
And this change is everything. The place where we decide what's true moves from closed chambers to an open, public space. The process itself goes from being a black box to being totally transparent. And maybe most importantly, access to becoming a recognized expert moves from being guarded by a select few to being open to anyone, based purely on their merit.
The potential here is just huge. I mean, imagine brilliant researchers building a global reputation based only on the quality of their work,
completely bypassing the old gatekeepers. This kind of system empowers talented people from anywhere in the world, and it truly democratizes who gets to be called an expert.
This all leads us to one final, powerful concept: emergent truth. In this kind of model, truth isn't something that's just handed down from on high by some authority figure. No. Instead, truth emerges from a disciplined, incentive-aligned, and totally verifiable process that any one of us can inspect and challenge.
And that kind of leaves us with this final, really big question to chew on. If we can successfully reinvent how we validate expertise and truth, making it transparent, making it accountable, making it public, what other fundamental parts of our society could we rebuild on a new foundation of verifiable trust? It's a massive idea, and definitely something worth thinking about.